What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing an Ancient Gear deck profile. So I'm really excited to do something for you guys because this deck is an extremely fun going second deck that can easily OTK your opponent. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell there so you can come part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're playing 2 copies of Ancient Gear Dark Golem. This card is definitely a 2-0 in the build because this card actually gives us a double search. With the ability, this card's name becomes Ancient Gear Golem while in the field or in the graveyard, which is an awesome effect to help us step into all sorts of cool fusion plays. Also, if this card is normal or special summon, you can add up to 2 cards that are Ancient Gear cards and or Gear Town from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card. Then discard a card, which is an amazing ability to be able to use to instantly grab the exact cards that you need. Also, you cannot set cards for the rest of the turn, which is totally fine. This card also has the ability, if this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate spells or trap cards until the end of the damage step, which a lot of our Ancient Gear cards actually share that awesome common effect. We then play a single copy of the original Ancient Gear Golem. This card is so nostalgic and definitely a 1-0 in the build to help us going for all sorts of cool fusion plays, but you only need a single copy of this card. We then play 3 copies of Ancient Gear Statue. Ancient Gear Statue is one of the most powerful support cards this deck has ever gotten, because this card has the ability, if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can also tribute this card to be able to special summon from your hand or deck an Ancient Gear Golem or a monster that mentions it except a copy of this card, ignoring its summoning conditions, which is an amazing ability to instantly bring out the exact card you need using Statue. We then play 3 copies of Ancient Gear Wyvern. Wyvern is really good as a 3 as well, because this card is basically the Stratos of the deck. That if this card is normal or special summon, you can actually add an Ancient Gear card from your deck to your hand, which is an awesome ability to instantly add the exact card that you need so we can go full combo. We then play 2 copies of Ancient Gear Tanker. Tanker is one of my favorite cards in the entire deck, and this card is so cool because if this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon an Ancient Gear monster from your hand, except a copy of Tanker, ignoring its summoning conditions. Or if your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon from your graveyard instead, instantly bringing out the exact monster that you need. You can also target a face-up card you control, destroy it, and also for the rest of the turn, all monsters that you control that are Ancient Gear Golem or mention it gain 600 attack points, which is a pretty cool effect. We lay a single copy of Ancient Gear Frame. Ancient Gear Frame is a really cool combo piece in the deck, but I feel like 1 copy is really all you need in this deck. This card lets you discard a card to add an Ancient Gear Golem or a spell or trap card that mentions it from your deck to your hand, which is a pretty cool effect. We lay a single copy of Ancient Gear Commander. Commander is really powerful in the deck as a 1-0, but you only need a single copy of this card. This card is ability you can actually send an Ancient Gear Golem from your hand, deck, or face in the monster zone to the graveyard, and immediately after this effect resolves, you get to normal summon an Ancient Gear monster. And if you normally special summon an Ancient Gear Golem, except during the damage step, you can special summon an Ancient Gear Golem from your hand to the graveyard, ignoring its summoning conditions. You can also banish this card in the graveyard to place an Ancient Gear Continuous Trap from your hand face up on the field, which is always going to be able to place your copy of Ancient Gear Duel on your side of the field with this card's effect. We lay a single copy of the Gizmek Frog. This card is really cool as a 1-0 in the build, and I absolutely love this card, as if this card is normal or special summon, you can actually take a machine monster whose attack equals its own defense from the deck and place it on top of the deck. You can also banish this card in the graveyard and then target a machine monster in your graveyard whose attack equals its own defense and special summon a defense system, which is a great effect to actually use with our copy of Dark Golem, because Dark Golem actually has 3000 attack and 3000 defense to be able to instantly bring it back with your copy of the Gizmek Frog. We lay a single copy of Terverion King Regulus. Regulus is really good as a 1-0 in the build because this card is actually a walking negate. We then play 3 copies of Fluros. Fluros is really powerful as a 3 on the deck to basically just help us dig into the deck for the exact cards that we need. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Ancient Gear Fusion. Ancient Gear Fusion is an amazing 1-of in the deck that helps us fusion summon into all sorts of awesome Ancient Gear monsters, with the ability to fusion summon an Ancient Gear Fusion monster from the extract using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. And if you use an Ancient Gear Golem or an Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound that you control as a fusion material, you can also use monsters from the deck as a material, which is a crazy powerful ability. We then play a single copy of Catapult. Catapult is amazing in the deck, but I feel like one copy is really all you need. This card is really when you control no monsters, you can target a face-up card you control and destroy it. And if you do, special summon an Ancient Gear monster from the deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. You can also banish this card in the graveyard to target a face-up card you control, destroy it, and if you do, special summon an Ancient Gear token to your side of the field. It's a machine type, Earth, level 1, 0 attack, and 0 defense. But you can only use one effect of this card per turn, and only once that turn. We made a single copy of Gear Town. Gear Town is great in the deck, but there's so many different ways to be able to search this card, and I feel like one copy is really all you need. This card also has a pretty cool ability to be able to activate the effect that when this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon an Ancient Gear monster in the hand, deck, or graveyard, which is a pretty cool ability. We made a single copy of Feather Duster. Feather Duster is great just to deal with your opponent's back row, and it's an awesome 1-of in the build, especially since we want to go second. Since we also want to go second, we're playing 2 copies of Lightning Storm. Lightning Storm is great in the deck as a 2-of to basically just deal with your opponent's back row, and it's a really cool 2-of in this build. We then play 3 copies of Urgent Schedule. Urgent Schedule is crazy powerful in the deck, helping get 2 monsters out on your side of the field extremely quickly. With the ability, if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon a level 4 or lower and a level 5 or higher Earth Machine monster from the deck and defense system, but their effects are negated. You also cannot declare attacks the turn that you activate this effect except with machine monsters, which is totally fine because that's usually all we're summoning. This card is amazing as a 3-of in the build and just helps out so much in this deck to instantly get you 2 monsters on your side of the field, and since we want to go second, this card is usually always live. We then play 3 copies of Ancient Gear Advance. Ancient Gear Advance has some of the best artwork in the entire game. This card is so good in the deck, because when this card is activated, you can add an Ancient Gear spell or trap card from your deck to your hand, except a copy of Advance, which is an amazing ability to instantly get your copy of Ancient Gear Fusion, or a copy of Catapult, which is so cool. This card also has a really cool ability once per turn. You can treat a monster to draw a card, then apply this effect for the rest of this turn, even if this card leaves the field, that you can normal summon an Ancient Gear Golem or a level 5 or higher monster that mentions it without tributing, which is a crazy powerful effect to instantly bring out your copy of your Ancient Gear Golem to your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Ancient Gear Fortress. Fortress is really cool as a 3-of in the deck and one of the most powerful cards in the entire build, because during the turn they were normal or special summon, your opponent cannot target Ancient Gear monsters you control with card effects, and they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, which is a crazy powerful ability. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to activation of Ancient Gear cards and effects, meaning your cards are basically invincible to help us go in for game. Also, if this card is destroyed in the spell and trap card zone, you can special summon an Ancient Gear monster from the hand to the graveyard, which is a really powerful ability to instantly bring out an Ancient Gear card to your side of the field. This card is absolutely insane in this deck. We then play 3 copies of Ultimate Slayer. Ultimate Slayer is really good at just spot removing a monster off your opponent's side of the field. Plus, we have some really cool targets in the extract to be able to use with this card to be able to just deal with our opponent's cards. We then play 3 copies of Forbidden Droplets. Droplets is really good at basically just halving the attack points of your opponent's monsters, and also using this card to negate their effects. This card is a great board breaker in the deck. It makes it super easy to OTK your opponent with our copy of Chaos Ancient Gear Giant. So, that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing one, and that's going to be a single copy of Ancient Gear Duel. Ancient Gear Duel is really good to be able to use with our copy of Commander, and this card is ability Ancient Gear Golem and monsters that mention it in your monster zone are unaffected by your opponent's activated monster effects, meaning it's even more difficult to deal with your Ancient Gear cards, so we can go in for game. And if your opponent controls a monster, you can actually fusion summon a fusion monster that mentions Ancient Gear Golem from your extract by banishing monsters from your field or graveyard as material, including a copy of Ancient Gear Golem that you control. And if you do, it can make up to 3 attacks during each battle phase, which is a crazy powerful effect, making it super easy for us to go in for game. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with 2 copies of Chaos Ancient Gear Giant. This card is an amazing 2-0 that makes it super easy to OTK our opponent, requiring 4 Ancient Gear monsters to make this card, which is actually very easy to do in this deck. When this card has the ability, it must be fusion summoned and it's unaffected by spell and trap effects, which is a really powerful effect that basically makes it immune from every spell or trap effect. Also, your opponent cannot activate monster effects during the battle phase. Also, it can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each, and if this card attacks a defensive monster, it does piercing damage, which is crazy powerful. We play a single copy of Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. This card is really good in the deck. It does require a copy of Ancient Gear Golem plus 2 more monsters to make this card, but it comes out absolutely massive and it's just such a cool card to summon. We play a single copy of Megaton Golem. Megaton Golem is really good in this deck as a 1-0. It can attack multiple times and it's super easy to bring out to your side of the field, just requiring any 3 Ancient Gear monsters to make this card. We made a single copy of Howitzer. Howitzer is an insane card in this deck with the ability that it's unaffected by other cards' effects. Also, during your main phase, you can actually inflict 1,000 points of damage to your opponent, which is great to help you close out games. Also, this card has the ability, if this card is destroyed by a battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon an Ancient Gear monster from your deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. We then play a single copy of Golden Cloud Beast. This card is a really good Ultimate Slayer target for synchro monsters, as if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can trade a face-up card your opponent controls and return it back to the hand. We then play a single copy of Baguska, just in case we need to slow down the game a little bit. We then play a single copy of Number 60. Number 60 is great as a 1-0 in the build to basically just use this card in this deck to either double the attack points of a monster, draw 2 and discard a card, or special summon a monster back from the grave. We made a single copy of Merrymaker and a single copy of Gigantic Champion Sargus. These cards are just really good in the build overall, and awesome to be able to summon out to your side of the field because you can actually use your copy of Merrymaker to instantly bring out your copy of your champion, which is so cool. And this card is awesome just to instantly summon it out to your side of the field, because while this card has material, you can add a Spriggans or a Therion card from your deck to your hand, instantly grabbing our copy of Regulus from our deck to our hand. We then lay a single copy of Aggregator. Aggregator is great as an Ultimate Slayer target, and just awesome to be able to play, because if this card does touch the graveyard, it can negate a card on the field. We lay a single copy of Cleafort Genius. Genius is great to be able to play in the deck, and just really cool overall in this build, because if you do special summon 2 monsters at the same time to zones this card points to, you can actually add a level 5 or higher machine monster from your deck to your hand, which is pretty cool with a copy of Urgent Schedule. We then play 2 copies of Ballista. Ballista is really good in the deck as a 2-of, because this card is really, if this card is Link Summon, you get an Ancient Gear monster or a copy of Gear Town from your deck to your hand, and also target a spell or trap card you control and a face a monster your opponent controls, destroy that card you control, and if you do, change that opponent's monster's attacking events to 0, which is a pretty cool ability to use with your copy of Gear Town or your copy of Fortress, so you can bring out additional monsters to your side of the field, but this card is awesome in the deck. We play a single copy of Clockwork Knight. Clockwork Knight is really good as a 1-0 in the build because this card is an awesome effect as you can actually target a machine monster with 1,000 or less attack in the graveyard, trade a machine monster except this card, and if you use special summon that target a monster in defense position, which is a great ability to instantly bring back our copy of Statue, so we can actually tribute it and summon out another monster to our side of the field, which is really cool. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played an Ancient Gear deck before, you should definitely give this deck a try, as it's such a powerful going second deck, and it's just so fun to be able to play. I absolutely love Ancient Gear, and it's such a nostalgic deck. So, that's good for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. So later, guys.